Hi, I'm Sueanne from East Windsor, Connecticut. At the age of 23, I brutally murdered my child. But I didn't have to serve jail time because this type of homicide was and still is legal. Society may not have required me to serve any physical time in prison, but I paid the price for having the life of my child ripped out of me. That was far worse than anything man could have asked of me. I had an abortion because I was a young woman living a dysfunctional life with 2 children already. I was the black sheep of my family. I was told repeatedly by family members that I was a bad mother and should give up custody of the 2 children that I did have. This advice was the only advice I would receive from them or anyone in that matter. The disappointment and disgust in their faces when I announced my pregnancy to them was more than I could bear at the time. I isolated myself and grew more and more depressed and scared. With no one to turn to, I reached out to an abortion clinic, and without hesitation, they reached right back. I was never offered any type of counsel or counseling from anyone. I was a number, and so was my baby. I was 22 weeks pregnant when I aborted my child. I was heavily drugged, but I remember the sounds, the smells, the pain, the feel of the cold, and the horrific realization of what was happening to my baby. I cried out for them to stop, but I was held down and told it was too late. I immediately suffered severe hemorrhaging and was hospitalized without anyone knowing where I was or what was happening to me or my child. The doctors were able to stop the hemorrhaging of my blood that day, but my soul continued to hemorrhage every day. I never forgave myself. And I carried that pain and guilt with me for over 18 years. I never talked about it, and each time the memory surfaced, I'd push it away. I hated my life, I hated myself. But there came a time when God would no longer allow me to carry my pain and suffering all alone. The day was November 8th, 2005 in Farmington, Connecticut. I found myself face to face with the cold, hard truth of what I had done. My grandson, Nicholas, was lying there at 24 weeks premature, just 2 weeks older than my aborted baby. And this is Nicholas, 24 weeks. I watched as he was fighting for his life with every bit of God-given strength he had. I watched as the doctors and nurses fought for his life too. I remember thinking, why didn't I do this? Why didn't the doctors and nurses do this for my baby? It was at that moment I hit my knees, utterly broken and destroyed. Every cold, hard wall I had placed around me throughout the years to shield me from the truth was crumbling down. I cried out to God and my baby to forgive me for what I had done. That was when my healing began. Now, 5 years later, my grandson Nicholas, is alive and healthy, and I have reached a place, but for the grace of God, I couldn't have reached alone. It was by His forgiveness that I was able to forgive myself. That is why I'm silent no more.